Let's get to our producer, our man, Josh, the awards for the 2025 PGA Tour Airy All Awesome Year Awards. And these are kind of all over the place. I'm just going to kind of present them. I'm gonna start here. This is the I'm Not Mad, I'm Disappointed award for the player this season that just lets you down. And listen, I've already talked a lot about him. I'm just going to lay him out here because I mentioned a lot of the stuff. Colin Morikawa leads this for me. 19 starts, 4 top 10s, didn't win. 2 of his first 4 starts, he finished second. Outside of that, it's been putrid since then. Not really in the hunt at a single major championship. I want more out of this guy. He's a long ways away from the guy that people were predicting would win 5, 6, 7 majors when he burst on the scene out of amateur golf. So Colin is my I'm Not Mad, I'm Disappointed award winner.
Okay, I've Colin for another one.
Okay.
Coming up here. But mine, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. It's Patrick Cantlay, Patty Ice. Because coming into every season, Shane, I'm like, this is the year. This is the year he gets into major championship contention. This is the year he's a multiple-time winner. He kind of does this thing at the end of the prior season where he shows you a little bit of skin, gets you all hot and bothered. You're like, oh, yeah, this guy's he's got the makeup to do something special this upcoming year. 21 wins the FedEx Cup, 22 wins in the playoff, does that thing in Rome that got us going with Rory in the Ryder Cup. 24, he contends at the U.S. Open, very quietly almost won that U.S. Open, was in the penultimate group there with Rory, and then he does well in the President's Cup in 24 as well. It's like, man, this guy rises to the occasion in some of these team events. Great all-around player. 3 missed cuts in major championships. You don't hear about him all year until the final event. And then even in the final event, kind of threw up a little bit over himself in the final round. So he's my award for that one.
I think he's a good pick. I would probably echo that. He'd probably be second behind Colin for me if I was going to keep going down there. My one thing on Morikawa is I would like him maybe to arm lock next year. You know, we've talked about the putter change, just something. Putt lefty, arm lock, long putter, go at him.
Left-handed low?
Left hand low. I don't care. Try to kick it in, whatever you can do to maybe improve 141st on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. I think those 2 are probably the answer. You could include Spieth, I think, there as well. But I think the problem with Spieth is for Jordan, I just don't think we expect a lot anymore. Unfortunately and sadly, I don't think we're sitting here going he's going to win a major with the form he's at. And for Jordan, bucked a little early in the season and just could not sustain it. But those are 2 pretty good picks, I think. What about the I Might Have Been Wrong award for a guy that changed your opinion on him in 2025?
It's Colin Morikawa. Like you mentioned, this is a guy who won, 2 out of his first 8 major championships? Yep. Was it something like that? Off to a torrid pace. I've been generally pro Colin Morikawa throughout his career. I knew he had diva-like tendencies. But I think throughout it all, I thought this was a guy who was really sure of himself, sure of his game, sure of everything that comes with being a professional golfer. And we saw him really question that in 2025 between the spats with the media, the caddy carousel with 5 caddies throughout the year, however much it was. And so as a guy who people were predicting to be like a 4 or 5 time major champion, I thought he took a real step back this year. That being said, wouldn't be shocked if he's on the Ryder Cup team and if he plays well, but I just figured he was much more sure of himself as a golfer.
Especially earlier in the year. I mean, I think earlier in the year, you're sitting there going, okay, here we go. Now we're back. Now we're going to rock. And then just could not keep it going. Obviously, it's the irons that are the issue. But wild just to see. I kind of went the other direction. I got Keegan Bradley as mine. I think throughout most of Keegan's career, I kind of saw him as this nervy golfer that at times would kind of freak himself out down the stretch in big events. He reminded me a little bit of, remember when Billy Horschel made the President's Cup team and it just seemed like it was like too big for him?
He was jacked up.
It just, he was like too jazzed up.
Yeah.
Keegan to me kind of felt like that. And this year, in certain moments, it felt like Keegan was excited about the moment. I mean, obviously at the Travelers, we saw that. He's had a ton of pressure on him in terms of playing well. I think as the conversations about being on this team grew, I know the game didn't sustain, but he didn't play terrible golf. He played solid golf after the win, played well at Eastlake, top 20 at the BMW. I think Keegan is a little bit of a different player than I thought he was. And I think he probably sees a little bit of that in himself as well. And I think that's why, in a way, he's probably going to pick himself, is I think he knows I do have it in me to step up in these moments when people need me the most.
Yeah, he's turned into a closer, which I don't think he ever really had that type of stigma around him, that description around him. In the last few years, he really has closed tournaments quite well.
All right, we got the Amnesia Award. The Amnesia Award. Let me write down what exactly Josh wrote down. The best season that everyone will forget about before the Pro Tour. I think that's a really good way of saying it. I got our boy Russell Henley. 18 starts, 12 top 25s. Got the win earlier this season. Kind of slumped a little after. Played bad in the opening round at Augusta. Missed the cut at the PGA. But a couple top 10s at both the Opens. In the hunt at the Memorial. Finished second at Travelers. Second at East Lake. Extremely consistent this year. Fourth in strokes gained total for the year. Easy to kind of forget about the guy just in the way he goes about his business because it's not the sexiest game in the world. But very impressive season for my boy Russell Henley. Didn't win the major that I predicted, but played very good golf.
Almost the season-long champ, almost the Super Bowl champion. Yeah. I thought he was going to get it done after that first round. He put out a good stat about his putting woes the last 54 holes, just not making anything compared to his first 18 holes. I have a guy, I get kind of like similar demeanor, I would say, similar kind of game. I said JJ Spawn.
Yeah,
U.S. Open
champion.
I
thought about him.
This is probably going to have to extend beyond the Pro Tour, maybe a few years, half a decade, whatever it is. Everyone will remember the U.S. Open victory, be like, oh, yeah, 2025, JJ Spawn won at Oakmont. But I think we'll forget the Players' Championship playoff and the St. Jude Championship playoff as well, knowing that this guy was only a couple rolls or a couple bounces away from maybe having an all-time season. And so that was the one that I think people will forget beyond the Pro Tour, not quite the Pro Tour.
Yeah, producer Josh said would have paid $1 million for one of you guys to say Joaquin Niemann. These are PGA Tour awards, but I think Joaquin Niemann is a great pick there as well. What did he win? Did he win like 3 or 4 times on LIV?
5 of 13.
He won 5 times.
He's got 9 wins these last 2 years,
and got that top 10 at the majors. Here he comes, snuck into the top 10 there. You mentioned the Russell putting stat: 207 feet of putts on Thursday, 151 feet of putts the next 3 rounds combined. Fell off a little there. I like the Spawn pick. The only reason I didn't pick him is I do think the putt on 18 at Oakmont will live for a long time. Just an incredible putt, obviously, from our fella. Launchpad Award. Guy's going to take a big old step in 2026. Who you got?
I got Cameron Young.
Okay.
That's right. A guy who
considered him.
Improved mightily on the greens, a top 10 putter on the PGA Tour this year. Obviously got the monkey off his back at the Wyndham Championship, and a guy who's always played well at major championships throughout his career. He's played well at a variety of golf courses, which I think is very impressive. And so wasn't 100% healthy, I would say, in the middle of the year, but got his way through U.S. Open qualifying, which I think did a lot for him with a pretty star-studded playoff that was there in Ohio. And I think Cam Young is back in major championship contention in 2 of them next year, Shane.
I got Matt McNeely here, 24 starts, 7 top 10s, 20 of 24 cuts made. You look at his stats, they're sneaky impressive, kind of positive across the board. Hits it far enough, ton of fairways, good iron player, good putter, pitches the golf ball well as well. Kind of, to me, feels like a poor man's Tommy Fleetwood. Is that fair, do you think?
Okay.
And I could see a Ben Griffin season for Mav next year, maybe a couple wins, makes the President's Cup team. Still not off the Ryder Cup team, by the way, for Matt McNeely. I don't think he's going to get picked, but if he did, I don't think I'd fall out of a chair considering the way he has played this season. I think Matt McNeely has a big 26.
Yeah, I like that one. A lot better ball striking campaign. Kind of end of the fall into this year, working with I think, who is it? Scottie Ham, perhaps. Could be wrong there, but I like that one.
Yeah, you said it confidently, so I think that's probably right. What about the Data Golf Award? A guy who had a year, but the stats say he's impressive. Who do you have for the Data Golf Award?
When I think Data Golf, Data Boys, statistics only, one name comes to mind, Shane. It's Corey Connors. It's always Corey Connors. He's a statistical darling. He just needs a hot putting week. Corey Connors, when all is said and done in the history books, we'll look at the FedEx Cup rankings after East Lake, and this guy finished 4th in the season-long race. Even when I was going through his season, I was like, he did that at the Masters? Oh, he did that too before then? I was like, I don't remember seeing a single Corey Connors shot in 2025.
No.
But
I don't think there's a Corey Connors shot I remember in my life from Corey Connors.
I think
and he's a nice guy. I love Corey Connors. I'm just saying
he's the capital T, the data boy for me in 25.
I got Justin Thomas. I know I weigh the majors probably way more than even the nerdiest of golf people. Obviously, I've talked a lot about how bad he's played at the majors, and I know he got the win. I think I look at Justin Thomas as a guy I need more than one victory to say he had a great season. Stats were pretty good for JT. 6 total in strokes gained, 31st approach, 17th putting, which is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He was 81st off the tee, but he still gained shots with that stat. And obviously, we've talked about how bad of a driver the golf ball he is right now, and 24th around the greens. Again, I think about JT. I need more than that. I need more than one victory early in the season out of him, and he's continued to struggle so much in the majors. So when I look at Justin Thomas's year, I don't see a great season per se, but the stats would say he's still very, very good at golf. Obviously, making it to East Lake as well and playing solid there. Is that fair for Justin Thomas?
I think that is fair. I had him tabbed for a different one. So.
Okay. Well, let's move on. The what in the world's going on here award for a player that you just don't really understand what the hell happened in 2025. A lot of names that I thought about for this award.
You go first. All
right. I'm going. I mean, this is Brian Campbell's award. There's nobody else you could put here. This should be called the Brian Campbell Award. 2 wins, next best finish, T32nd. Brian Campbell played 22 events this year, Patrick. He had 2 wins, 2 WDs, 10 missed cuts. And his stat page resembles somebody that is headed not just to the Korn Ferry Tour in 2026, but taking a Spirit Airlines flight back to the Korn Ferry Tour. It was a weird year for one of the rare players to win multiple times on the PGA Tour.
Got to hop on those Spirit tickets quick. I believe they're going out of business here in the next year.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't believe they can sustain their current financial models, which I'm going to miss those online videos of Spirit flights. That's a good one. I honestly, Brian Campbell wasn't even on my radar for this award. Shame on me.
I thought this was going to be the one we'd pick the same.
No, I went with Sung JM.
Okay.
I still think we need an audit on these FedEx Cup points and how he made his way into the Tour Championship. I'm not talking Grant Thornton in a PGA Tour partner. We need a third party to come in here, whether that is EY, PwC, whoever it may be. But
it's like the concussion doctor on the sidelines for the NFL.
Exactly. Something's up here. And I threw this stat out to you last week. He lost 165 strokes on approach across the season to Scottie Scheffler. He finished 162nd out of 163 players in strokes gained approach on the year, behind only Will Chandler. But in totality, he lost the most strokes on the PGA Tour with his iron play. If he had gained 1 stroke on approach per tournament, which is a quarter per round, if my math is correct, he'd be gaining nearly 1.6 per round, which makes you a very good PGA Tour player. And even despite that, he somehow made his way to the Tour Championship.
Crazy.
So I don't understand it at all. I don't know how it happened. I don't.
It's kind of the outlier. I'd say I agree with you. I thought that was a crazy thing you brought up last week, and I continue to find it crazy that he's that bad with the iron. I do think they need to go, like, his team needs to go Zurich level and let Willie Wilcox hit the irons and he can hit everything else. It's so weird that he's that bad with the irons, which leads us into a pretty good kind of follow-up to that. It's the Red Stat Column Award for a guy that would have been awesome if not for one part of his game. I kind of cheated a little bit here, Patrick. This is really the one I got a little loose with. Because I went with the entirety of a short game, and I went Victor Hovland.
Okay.
13th tee to green, second in approach. He was 126th around the greens and 103rd in putting, and still had a pretty good year. If you look at what Victor Hovland was able to do, we've always talked about the pitching and putting with him, but Victor Hovland has not been a bad putter throughout his career. Mm-hmm. He was bad on the greens this year, second in approach, and just if he misses a green, he's going to make bogey.
Yeah, his iron play was ridiculous this year, made up for a lot of mistakes. This is my Justin Thomas stat, even though technically not in the red, but the worst driving season of his career. We saw that a lot at East Lake. I would say, like you mentioned, number 17 on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. He was almost a bottom 10 putter on the PGA Tour last season, and off the tee play is most indicative to success. Fairway in, he is an elite level player. And had he driven the ball like he did in 2022, which was pretty average for his career, his strokes gained numbers per round would be north of 2.0, which is
Wow.
elite level stuff. And so I think if he just was able to drive the ball effectively, major championship contention would be in the mix, multiple wins perhaps, and it just really held him back.
All right, Apex Mountain Award, guy that's going to be remembered for his 2025 best year of his life, of his career. Who do you have for Apex 2025 Mountain Award?
So I had this guy tabbed almost for Changed My Mind, but I was like, I put a description underneath. I was like, he didn't really change my mind. And so I couldn't put him for that one. I think it's Ben Griffin. I think a 2-win season, a couple top 10 finishes in major championships, and a potential Ryder Cup selection is going to be as good as it gets for Ben Griffin. And he does have a message. He sent a video in as well when I told him that he was going to be winning this award.
Oh, nice.
And here you go.
Mishaps last weekend. Look, guys, I had some mishaps last weekend. Creatine overdose, that's not a thing. I was just dehydrated. But I did swallow a creatine rock in my water bottle going down the first fairway.
So I don't think those sponsorship opportunities are really going to be there moving forward, as the well is going to dry up slowly but surely, I think.
Swallowed a rock of creatine. Gotta love it. I think it's a good pick. Probably he's probably his Apex Mountain. I think it's this guy's Apex Mountain as well. You mentioned him earlier, JJ Spawn. I don't think it get better than this. Playoff loss of the Players, wins the U.S. Open, playoff loss in the FedEx Cup's going to play on the Ryder Cup team. Again, just these are the years you have and you remember forever. And some guys have it. And I mean, it's him, it's Ben Griffin, and producer Josh is suggesting maybe Scottie as well with the 2 major wins. It'd be hard to compare. I think Scottie's, it's like an Apex run. I don't think it's an Apex year, but you look at his year last year and then obviously into this year and all the wins he's had. It's tough to say this is going to be Scottie's best year, but I guess there's an argument to be made if he doesn't have another multiple major win.
Yeah, I mean, he could win 3 in a year for all we
I think
know,
so
right?
too. I mean, he's going to win another Masters. So if he wins another Masters, he needs to win 2 or more. And again, he's going to, I mean, hell, he's going to finish top 5 in all the other ones. So it's like, you know, he's just got to get in himself in contention. I got a Scottie question for you, Patrick. Somebody asked me on Twitter yesterday, when's the last time you were watching golf on a Sunday and Scottie at least wasn't in contention or had a chance to win? I was trying to think about it. I was trying to think about the last time I had that sensation. It must have been a major. Was it a major last year?
When he hasn't played the Wyndham Championship? It would have been.
Was it
most
the arrest?
likely Pinehurst number 2?
Okay. Yeah, that's
U.S. Open, right?
Yep. Crazy. I mean, it's wild to think that every single time he's right there and in contention, has a chance. This was a good one. This was my favorite one Josh put together. The First Shot Award for a golf shot, a singular golf shot that in the middle of next summer. So you and I are at Shinnecock, the sun's on our shoulders. We put a little SPF on the top of our ears, big spot to make sure you're covering with sunscreen, bad spot for golfers. You're throwing out some takes, maybe about one of the new up and coming amateurs that's in contention through 2 rounds. And I say, hey man, what's the shot from last year that pops up in your head that you think about from 2025? What's that shot?
It is Rory's hook around the tree Sunday at Augusta National for me. I was
15.
there on 15. I was there on Saturday when he hit a ridiculous shot as well, but we were on the right side of the fairway, first Masters ever. I became addicted to not having any phones and not knowing any information. And we're on the right side trying to figure out if this guy's going to lay up. People with binoculars are looking at the club face. They're like, oh, that looks like a pretty lofty club. I think he's just chipping it down. And then someone's like, I don't know. It looks like he's really rearing to go at this one. And he just rips a 7-iron around it. And the sun is kind of setting almost. And you see the grandstand rise like a tide, like a wave in the ocean. And it was one of the coolest moments, probably the coolest moment I've had watching golf in my life.
So you went positive, which I appreciate.
Oh, let's go. No, this is
I
better.
went negative.
Better. Yeah, this is better.
But I went with the same guy at the same golf tournament. I think I'll think about the Rory wedge at 13 for the rest of my life. I will reference it for the rest of my life. It's replaced the Mito Pereira tee shot on the 72nd hole to PGA. It's kind of the shot I'll think about when somebody just does something awful
Okay.
Under the gun, under pressure. I was on the couch. I'd been calling golf that morning for Masters.com, went back to the rental house. I'm watching the final round with Scott Verplank, who's played in a million Masters, and we are preparing. I'm preparing to talk about the win, and we are emotional, and we're vibing, we're fired up. This guy's finally going to do it. I mean, he obviously hit that shot on 9, and he hit the shot on 10, and it's like, here we go. He got through 12, decides to lay up on 13, and then the wedge. I will never forget that golf shot. I will never forget it. Just going right. He could hit it anywhere left and make par, and he hits it right.
So we followed him 10, 11, 12. And we're like, all right, he makes par on 12. Let's get ahead of him. 13, par at worst, most likely. And so we're on the fairway on 14. And this guy who covers, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He's from across the pond though, because I remember the accent. And he's like out of breath, running where you're not allowed to run. And we're like,
oh, run into Augusta.
We're like, what did Rory do on 13? He goes, laid the sod over the wedge, made double. Rosie's made 2 birdies in a row. It's a tie game. We're like, okay, what actually happened on 13? And he's like in a complete state of disarray. Yeah. Almost, it was either sweat or tears at that point for him. And so I'm so bummed that I missed that one live.
By the way, we were both at Augusta. I don't know if we mentioned that, but yeah, we were
in
there.
Fact,
no
there.
Big deal. Those were the ones. I mean, I love that we both went to Rory. Again, I think that says a lot about the year when both of our minds go to the guy that obviously completed the career Grand Slam and won an event. It felt like he was never going to win, and sure felt like he wasn't after the wedge on 13. And then maybe felt like he was with the second into 15. Wish he would have made that putt. That'd have been awesome if he'd have rolled that one in. All right, and this one was fun. I like this a lot. We're going to wrap it up here. Show's going a little longer, but you know what? We got a lot to talk about. The Scottie stat. Your favorite 2025 Scottie Scheffler, best player in the world, number 1 by a wide margin. Nobody compares to him. The Scottie stat that's your favorite from the season.
This one was tough. I think probably the toughest one of the category. So kudos to Josh here. And I settled on, of his 5 wins, his best statistical performance from a strokes gained perspective was not the BMW Championship. It was not either of the major championships or the Memorial. His best strokes gained tournament in 2025, a year of history for Scottie Scheffler, was the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. When paired against the peasants and plebeians of the PGA Tour, Scottie Scheffler stuffed those fools in a locker for his best statistical performance of the year. So that's what I landed on.
All right, so I thought about, I was up early this morning. Kids wake up crazy early. They just wake up. It's so ridiculous. I mean, our neighbors' kids sleep till 8. They tell us sometimes they have to wake the kids up. My kids are up at like 5:30 and 6. It's insane. I thought about digging through Justin Ray's Twitter and just pulling something out. Our guy Justin Ray, part of the show this year,
Scottie Scheffler,
one of our favorite people in all of golf. He's basically Scottie's stat guy at this point, considering what Scottie's doing. But I said, I can't do that. I mean, I can't just take a Justin Ray stat. I mean, I could have gone with the consecutive rounds of the 60s, the top 8 finishes, all that stuff that he's done that's tying records that have been around for 30 and 50 and 70 years. But I went here because I thought this was crazy. I went with Scottie Scheffler scoring. Here's Scottie's ranks across the entire PGA Tour in terms of scoring per round this season. Round 1 scoring. His scoring average in the first round, 67.32, first on the PGA Tour. Round 2 scoring this season, 68 on the dot. That's first on the PGA Tour, Patrick. Round 3 scoring, 68.63, second on the PGA Tour. Round 4 scoring, 68.16, that's second on the PGA Tour. So in the round scoring, first, second. Now, just for fun, just continuing the scoring. And like, again, how do you tell the story of Scottie Scheffler? You dive into some of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Par 3 scoring this year. Scoring average on par 3s this season. Under par, 2.98. That's third on the PGA Tour.
That's tough
Par
to do.
4 scoring, 3.90 for the season. That's first on the PGA Tour. Par 5, you thinking Rory? He hits it long, right? Doesn't Rory beat it? Miles down the fairway. No. It's Scottie, 4.44. That's first. Let me continue. Front nine scoring average this season, Scottie Scheffler was first. Back nine scoring average this season, Scottie Scheffler was first. Oh, and like, you know how sometimes we talk about the waves when you go out early and you go out late and you think about the conditions, the conditties, as they say. You know, some guys get blown off a golf course. Early scoring average for Scottie, he was first this season. Late scoring average, he was first this season. I think Scottie's the best golfer in the world.
So I have some questions for you here.
Let's go.
Bad weekend golfer, only second in round 3 and round 4.
Can't get it done. Can't get it done in the clutch. We saw it at Eastlake.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I do love the number 1 front 9, number 1 back 9.
So stupid. Everything is so dumb. It's like when you roll through his scoring stat page, it's just a whole bunch of ones is what it is.
Yeah. That's
so that is it. I mean, that's our producer Josh. Congrats to that, Josh. Way to do with that. That was very well done. Some very creative ones in there. If you're a commenter on YouTube, you could throw your answers in there as well. I don't know. We don't typically ask for that stuff. Patrick will probably chirp you if you go after him there. But that's kind of where we're at. Make sure you chirp Patrick about some of his picks as well, or maybe go after him about his Tommy Fleetwood take.